Hey everyone, welcome to BMW Vlog and welcome to Germany. Once again, I am back on the Autobahn, this time with the new BMW M5 G90. The reason why I'm back in Germany? Because we're doing a road trip to the Esports World Championship. BMW Motorsport is sponsoring 3 teams and they're all here in Germany to get ready physically and mentally for the World Championship in Saudi Arabia. So who are the teams? The first one, it's Team Redline. It is partially owned by one guy named Max Verstappen. You might have heard of him. Next one, it's BS Plus Competition. This is sponsored by a company out of Germany which works very closely with BMW Motorsport, not only in the sim world, but also in the real racing world. The third team is Maus. They're based in Hamburg and they're one of the biggest esports teams in the world. All these 3 teams are racing with the BMW M4 GT3. You've seen their car in plenty of competitions around the world and it has been quite successful. The BMW Motorsport team involved in this project, it's led by Timo Bruckner and he's been around the motorsports world for quite some time. So there is a lot of knowledge to be transferred from the real world of racing to this virtual sim racing. Of course, if you're into the sim world, maybe I'm not telling you anything new, but for someone like us, we're just getting started in this field. As a matter of fact, we partnered up with Fanatec recently to try out some of their gear. Over the next few weeks, I'm actually going to set up a very cool sim racing rig using the BMW Motorsport steering wheel, which by the way, you can take it from the track straight to the sim and back. And we're also going to be using one of their wheelbases, which is one of the best in the segment. Now, because space is of concern in my house and because my wife doesn't really approve of extra activities, I decided to go with a smaller seat. We also partnered up with Placeit, who's going to provide us with their trophy seat. I'm going to share more about that in the next few weeks. I'm going to write a story on this. We're going to film the whole setup and we're going to show you what it means to get into this world. So I'm heading into the Austrian Alps right now, actually going to Tyrol, and over the next few days, we're going to join these esports teams to see what it means to get ready for this World Championship. Because this is a skill set that also needs a lot of physical training and also a lot of mental preparation. So the first day, we'll be going up the mountain. I believe it's about a 10 to 15 kilometers hike. They haven't really told me the exact number. Probably they were trying not to scare me. Then we will join several team building exercises. Now let's talk M5 because we're in Germany and I'm on the Autobahn. I'm gonna be doing this. 220, 230, 240, 245, 260, 270, 280, 270, 290. Next, we're going to be hitting some of these back roads to see if the weight really matters in the new M5. And yes, this car is fast. You saw right there, when you need to overtake, straight line performance is impressive in the BMW M5. Naturally, this is a heavy car, right? We've talked about this in the past, around 2,500 kilos. There is no way of hiding that. But when it comes to driving performance, this M5 can actually impress quite a bit. Is it the same as the F90 M5? Of course not. This is a brand new M5, completely different technology, completely different philosophy. And I actually call this a mini M7. If you've never driven an M5 before, you'll be absolutely impressed by this car. But of course, if you've had a chance to drive the F90 competition or the F90 M5 CS, then yes, the driving experience it's completely different because those 2 cars are probably the pinnacle when it comes to the M5 lineup. Nonetheless, this is a fun car to drive. Do not be fooled by the weight because BMW has done a fantastic job trying to hide that weight as much as possible. This new M5 is really the jack of all trades. If the previous generation F90 M5 was a little bit too harsh to be a daily driver, this car it's not. This is why I'm calling this one more of a mini M7. It is a fantastic daily driver. It can be used in an all-electric mode, and at the same time, as you can see inside, it is quite luxurious. As I've talked about it in Chicago, even more relevant here, city driving, it's quite effortless. The rear axle steering does a fantastic job making the car feel a little bit smaller, a little bit lighter than it actually is. especially on some of these tight and narrow roads in Europe. The bad news, yes, the car is heavy. The good news, as my friend Sean Kelly says, BMW has done a fantastic job defining physics, because if you control that corner entry, once you get to mid-corner and you floor it, the car puts the power down so well, there is so much grip, and it literally rockets you out of the corner. I mean, this is the road where the M5 wants to live on. As much as I love it as a daily driver, this makes everything a lot better. Open roads, scenic drive, and my God, so much power. The brakes are fantastic. I have the carbon ceramics on this one, so they make a huge difference because they don't fade as fast as the normal brakes. Of course, they're expensive, but if you have the money, they're worth it. Steering feedback, not bad at all. I'm riding in Sport Plus, which means there are additional forces in that steering. Yes, it can feel a little bit numb because there isn't a lot of feedback coming from the road. I'm assuming that's by design because this is not an M2 or an M3 and M4. But the inputs are quite sharp and definitely very responsive steering. The rear axle steering makes a huge difference, as you saw, not only in those little tiny German villages, but especially at high speeds while cornering, because it keeps the rear end in check. It makes the car go around these bends quite nicely, with ease actually, and it hides that weight a little bit more. I mean, look at this, turns in nicely, so good. It's ridiculous. I mean, the road to the Esports World Championship can't get any better than this. All right, let's do some POV driving and just enjoy the scenery, not too much commentary. I mean, this car is fun, especially when you hit some of these bends. I mean, look at this, so much fun. The car is ridiculous fast. Do you feel the weight now? Not really. So this is what I like about the M1 and M2 button. The M1 button is the chill button, the M2 button is the crazy button. So when you're in city centers, switch to M1, and that's gonna give you the hybrid drive. If you want to go crazy, set up M2 to always run on that V8 and rev that engine up.
For the one race. And when you need them, let me know.
I know. Trust me. I tried at least 100 places.
Really?
I'm actually with single rules. First of all, we are BMW M Motorsport.
All right, so after the drive with the BMW M5, we're now here in Austria in the Alps, actually near a town called Ebbs. It was about an hour hike to the hotel, small tiny hotel, and then now we're gonna go for a climb. We just hiked about 2 hours, about 6 kilometers, but now there is a hike coming up right behind these trees, all the way to this peak called Non-Speeds or Non-Speeds. I'm gonna try to pronounce it in German, but it is quite wild because we're going to do some free climbing, and the idea is to really have all these teams together and support each other and all of that. So very interesting guys. Some of them want to get into professional racing, some of them want to stay professional in their own esports field. Some of them raced against F1 drivers like Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, and even beat them a couple of times in iRacing, if not more than that. So they're quite good. Interesting fact, there's a guy, Max, is with the Mouse team out of Hamburg, and he's also helping BMW Motorsport, testing their big simulator that's in Munich, and gives feedback to the engineering team for all the championships they're racing in and all of that. So it's not just a hobby, really. Like, these guys are professional athletes, and they do some really cool stuff. So we'll have a lot more coming up. Now let's go try that hike, because I've never done it before. So yeah, wish me luck.
This guy, yesterday he says 1.5 kilometers, it was 3.
Yes, boys.
That's nice.
Yes, boys.
Bam.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Lift up the other body, super, yeah.
So you've seen the journey so far, starting with the M5. We did a bunch of activities yesterday, more climbing. But to learn more about this weekend and why we're doing this, I have here with me Timo Bruckner from BMW M and BMW Motorsport. Of course, we've known each other for quite some time. Thank you for having us here. But first off, tell me, why are you doing this? What is this whole journey to the Esports World Cup?
The Esports World Cup is going to take place beginning of July in Saudi Arabia, and it's one of the biggest esports tournaments worldwide. And BMW is represented through 3 of our teams.
How does your involvement work with all these 3 teams? Because they're not BMW teams per se, but they're kind of sponsored and hosted by BMW to hold this journey.
Yeah, so our strategy is to have a very close relationship to the team representing our brand, choosing to pass in this major competition. And so it's not just an involvement that we have contacts in place, but we want to add something also from the expertise that we have from the real world motorsport side. And so we decided to bring all the teams here together to create some unique team building activities, to have some mental coaching sessions. And then in the end, the goal is to have the best performance that we can showcase during the event.
Okay, so what was your experience having these 3 teams here? Do you feel like they bonded already? Do you feel like they're closer now?
We initiated our training camp last year when we went to Italy to Formula Medicine to get into mental training in general. And we could see the result when the Esports World Cup happened just 2 months after our training camp in 2024. So this was the base that we are building on. And definitely we can see that the teams in between each other, the drivers in between each other, are interacting in a very different way than they would without our support.
So no more crashing into each other, basically.
Hopefully not, no.
Okay, so before we talk about this big rock, one of the big rocks that we've had here, so how is the esports world developing? Because I know during COVID, it was this huge boom. Do you feel like this is still growing? There is more potential there, especially for all these OEM brands, including BMW Motorsport.
That's very interesting, because now we're seeing that automotive gaming titles like Rennsport is part of a major esports competition where all the big teams, all the big organizations and players worldwide gather together in one place in person, and we are happy to be part of this, obviously.
So this big rock, so what's the next exercise here today?
Yeah, so what we're going to face, I mean, in the end, it's about team building. It's not about that one driver or one climber makes it up that rock, but in the end, the goal is that all the drivers, everybody makes it on top, and we have success as a team. So this is one of our challenges that we are going to face now, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So basically, don't leave anybody behind.
No, absolutely not, because we can only be successful as a team. Everybody counts.
All right, so now I guess it's time to climb that rock, huh?
Yeah, get your harness on.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Thanks for having me.
No.
Okay. This hook and then the other hook the other way around. Okay? Yes. Perfect. Yes. The rope. Over.
So now to the right. Rope.
With this rope is for you.
I see.
So here baratas you use always.
Find a nice grip. Next step. Yeah. Perfect. Rock. Yes. Perfect. Yes, that's a nice one. Good. Super. Good job, buddy.
Made it.
Great.
Made it. Okay, so now it's time to head back to Munich, of course, behind the wheel of the same BMW M5, because our journey with the esports teams and BMW Motorsport, it's coming to an end. It was a fun couple of days. Now, knowing all these teams from up close, I'm gonna keep an eye on them next month in Saudi and see which one of these drivers will take the win. I got my bets on a couple of them, but I'm sure there'll be some hidden gems that I wouldn't expect. All right, so let's do top speed with the BMW M5 G90. 200. Get out of the way. Get out of the way, please. Do not ruin my run. Let's try again. $220, $230, $240, $245, $260, $270, $280, $270, $290. Almost $290. Had to brake because there is a car in front. $290. Not bad.